Today we're taking a closer look at Galaxy Seiko's high-grade Gusion. On the surface, it's got that iconic battle-ready look. Once you get into it, well, let's just say it's a bit more frog than beast. From the build to articulation, this kit has some quirks. So is it worth adding this amphibious heavyweight to your shelf, or should you leave it swimming in the pond? Let's jump in. A quick discussion regarding this kit. There were a lot of sources, some even reputable sources, that claimed that this was made by Gao, and I assumed so until I had a box in my hand. My vendor isn't even sure who made it. I am now 90% sure that this is not Gao. This is not a Gao box, this is not Gao plastic, and this is not Gao manual. I am, however, 60% confident that this is a Yinghei Qinggong, aka Galaxy Seiko made kit. As you can see here with a Demon Judge, aka Michaelis kit. The box are of similar quality cardboard, the ink on the warning signs are identical, and the manual print quality is somewhat similar make. Therefore, I am inclined to say that this is a Galaxy Seiko kit. Anyways, let's check what's inside. Starting with what's in the box, the parts are all here. That chunky armor, the distinct Zaku green coloring, and a legendary hammer. The high-grade IBO line isn't known for carrying a lot of plastic, and this is not an exception. Picking up the pieces, you'll quickly notice that Galaxy Seiko has opted for a softer plastic. It's definitely not high-quality ABS, and you can feel it when handling the pieces. It feels porous, like old-school, first-generation Gao. When you look closer, you can see the paralines that run all over most of the parts. If you've used a 3D printer before, you'll recognize that these are the layer marks of a 3D resin printer. I'm gonna take a guess and say that they scanned the original parts and 3D printed a mold instead of recasting the original kit, which is a two-step recasting on its own, then cast a metal mold, then cast a kit like Gao used to do. Some parts are sanded down smooth, some are halfway treated, but most still have those layer marks on them, making the kit looks uneven when held up close. Despite being so soft that a knife can slice through like butter, it actually stresses quite easily, and it's hard to pinpoint the sensation, but the individual parts feel lighter than the usual ABS parts, making the kit feel, well, a little bit less heavy metal and a little bit more hollow frog. A lot of you might know this suit is piloted by Kudal Kaldel in the Iron-Blooded Orphan series, known for its sheer defensive power and brutal fighting style. The Gusion was built for one thing: all-out melee combat. On to the build process. Now, this kit is relatively straightforward, but here's one big challenge: snap fit ability. Galaxy Seiko's Gusion has some alignment issues. Many pieces don't snap in cleanly. You know that plugging the USB drive feeling when you stick in the first time? Whoops, that didn't fit. I must have gotten it the wrong way. Let me flip it around. Whoops, that's wrong again. Let me flip it back. Oh, now it fits. Then why in the cow poo did that work the first time? You know, that kind of feeling, all the way through the building process of this kit. There are some flashes and deformations that require you to take out the knife and shave down some parts, specifically these thrusters in the back. My part came with a deformed peg that's almost a square, where the hole it goes into is a round hole. I had to shave the corners a bit, rounding it out before it fits. The random mold flashes all over needs to be cleaned properly for the parts to fit at all in some places. The cod piece holding the front skirt also falls off quite easily, so I recommend fixing it in place with some PVA glue. Just a couple dabs will do. And PVA glue, since you only need to tighten the connection, not permanently seal it in place by accident, since the front skirt can flap. The shoulder armors are 3 pieces sandwiched together that don't fit flush, and you'll have to shave it down a wee bit or use some extra force to stick them together. The inner frames of the legs don't seem to fit flush either. They did when I first assembled the kit, but they kind of split after just one day, as you can see here. There's an adapter that supposedly lets you hold a hammer on the back that just can barely do that. There's also a flap at the bottom of the back skirt that lets you store the SMG that does not work at all due to fitting issues. For these two spots, I recommend thickening up the attachment points with nail polish or putty or some tacket to make it stick. The seam lines surprisingly aren't that bad, especially once you clean up the mold lines, but overall it's not a build you want to rush through if you're aiming for stability. For those who enjoy a clean build, you'll likely need to put in some extra work here to make this model look polished. So, let's talk articulation. And well, it's not great to be honest. The Gusion is already known for its bulk, so you can imagine the armor getting in the way from many places. The head can nod back and forth pretty okay, but cannot spin all the way around due to the giant collar in the back hitting the back of the head. The shoulders spin a full 360. This is the most mobile joint of the entire kit. The armpit swings about 70 degrees to the side. The upper arms can also spin a full 360. The elbow are single joints, so they can bend just a bit over 90 degrees, maybe 100 degrees. The wrist cannot spin a full 360 due to the sleeve armor getting in the way. It can spin around about 270 degrees. There's pretty much zero ab crunch going on, as you can see here. Side skirts can flap a little bit. Front skirts go all the way up. The thigh swings about 70 degrees to the side, almost 90 degrees to the front and back, but just barely, maybe 80 degrees. The knees are double jointed, but in a weird way that makes it even more limited than a usual single joint. The ankle can barely swivel due to the leg armor at the hem getting in the way. The ankle is also kind of stuck, too tight due to the fitting issues. However, due to all that bulk, the final model is actually quite heavy and stable. It can stand pretty well, holding that hammer and SMG. However, if you want to try more dynamic poses, not that it can do much of, you'll need to put it on a base. Even then, there aren't a lot of big motions that it can pull off. For the accessories, there's not much going on. No base stands, no water slide decals. You get the frog hammer, the submachine gun, one open left hand, one back adapter for the hammer and a sheet of stickers, and that's it. I belong to the school of no stickers, so I opted to paint the eyes with some markers instead of the stickers. Though the stickers seems to be properly cut but a bit thin. The hammer is two pieces of plastic slapped together plus a pommel at the end. The SMG is two pieces of plastic slapped together, and that's it. That's all you get. Personally, I don't mind, since as long as the suit can carry everything, that's alright with me. While putting this kit together, I can't help but feel that this kit desperately needs panel lining, and that's exactly what I did. The entire kit is just flat green with barely any color separation, which makes it feel lacking in details. Panel lining this kit definitely fixes that quite a bit, I would say. Aesthetically, nothing about this kit says Gundam, but it actually is a Gundam with two eyes and all. The bulky, rounded frog-like look is quite signature that pairs well with the Manro D. As a matter of fact, they have near identical head designs. Very sibling-esque design going on there. The star of the entire package is that hammer, I would say, since it's so unconventional as a weapon choice. There are a couple of hammer designs for model kits out there, but this one is definitely one of a kind. Simple, sleek in design, but ridiculous in proportion and size. Considering the price of this bootleg kit, it might be worth it just for that hammer alone. That's it for the Galaxy Seiko's Gusion kit. If you're looking for a rough and ready budget kit and don't mind some adjustments along the way, this Gusion has some display potential, but only if you're willing to put in some extra work. And I mean extra work. Just keep in mind it's not the tightest kit around, and it's a bit of a project if you're going for a solid display. In the end, it's a mixed bag. And if you're after a more refined build experience, you might find this kit falling a bit short. I would appropriately drop this kit in the MechaShark category. So, what do you think? Is this Gusion worth the effort, or will you wait for another version? Let me know in the comments. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that bell so you don't miss out on future model kit reviews. You can check out my other videos as well as my other channel for the music that I make. Thanks for tuning in, and until next time, keep building.